honor to be speaking before you today, and this is an honor that I take very seriously. When I was asked a few months ago to speak today, I decided to prepare with the same intensity that many of us devoted to our Grand Rounds presentations. So late last night I began. Just a joke. August 18, 2008. That was the day when the class of 2012 first convened on the campus of the University of Houston. There were new faces everywhere, and most of us had no idea what to expect for the next 4 years of our lives. Many of us were far from home, and the thought of living in the fourth largest city in the United States was quite daunting, yet very exciting as well. That was 1,364 days ago, and I'd like you to join me on a quick trip down memory lane. Dr. Schulman kicked off our orientation with a story about feeding the wolf inside you. I'm still not sure what he was getting at there, but I think he was trying to tell us that optometry school is very hard, and that we would have to study every waking hour, that we weren't in class to keep our heads above water. Nevertheless, first year began the next week. We were warned by our upperclassmen about the hurricane of information that was about to be thrown at us. But little do we know that literally a hurricane, Hurricane Ike, was coming our way. Half of our class lost power, and we had to spend the next few weeks sleeping on air mattresses, couches, and floors of those who still had air conditioning. It was a rough time, but I'm convinced that it was during these times that friendships were solidified and it brought us closer together as a class. First year was filled with many fun times, such as bowling tournaments, learning how to do the Texas two-step, deck parties, and intramural sports. I'd like to give a special shout out to the Blind Guys flag football team, who were the UHCO champions 3 years in a row. Congrats, guys. It wasn't all fun and games, though. We were also laying the foundation for our optometric education. Some highlights were Dr. Chino teaching us where the cerebral cortex was located, and Dr. Bergmanson also explaining not only that anatomy is indeed alive, but that Vikings tend to get a bad rap for pillaging villages and wooing women. They were just trying to spread their superior genes. The fall of 2009 marked the start of our second year. There was no hurricane this year, however, half the class did catch the flu, including myself. I'm pretty sure I called Mom during a fit of febrile insanity to tell her that this was it and that I loved her. Thankfully, we all recovered, only to have the dreaded competency test staring us right in the face. It's funny to think back about how freaked out everyone was about having to perform a cover test and retinoscopy. We all got through competency, and now came the time we had all been waiting for. We had paid our dues, and it was finally time for us to start seeing real patients. I'll never forget my first patient and what she said to me. She said, "Mi visión es muy borrosa, and no vemos los chicos todo el tiempo." It was at this time that I realized I would have to learn much more Spanish than just una más cerveza. Third year came and went with no epidemics or natural disasters, unless you would like to count part one of the national boards. We learned how to start thinking like doctors and how to educate our patients and ask those tough questions, like, would you rather have that tortilla or your feet? Dr. Stevens and Dr. Pass also taught us valuable clinical pearls, such as real men confuse vertical prism, and you know what happens when you assume? Sometimes you're right. Finally, after 3 long years, we were all fourth-year students. It was time to spread our wings and branch outside the walls of UHCO and see how the rest of the world tackles patient care. Little do we know that upon returning to UHCO, or for our in-house rotation, that those wings would be clipped, and it was back to checking in with attendings before dilation. We survived Grand Rounds presentations, and while some had it easier than others, I'm referring to everyone that was not in Group D, we all completed our 4 years and are now ready to jump into the real world. Which brings us to today. We We are graduating from the University of Houston College of Optometry, a school that since 1952 has trained optometrists to provide the highest quality of vision and eye care. We have excellent faculty who are leaders in the education of optometrists around the world and are renowned researchers in vision and related science. Simply put, UHCO represents optometry at its best. We as a class would like to thank the faculty and staff at UHCO for guiding us through this process and developing us into the doctors we are today. We'd also like to give special recognition to all the family and friends here today who have given us the support over the past 4 years. So to our parents, significant others, brothers and sisters, grandparents, family, and friends, we thank you. In closing, as we stand here today in our medieval garb and our funny hats, each of us is now ready to make the transition from student to doctor. Class of 2012, if I have any advice for you, it is this. It's time to move on to what's next. Don't let anything deter you from taking those first steps. Don't spend so much time trying to choose the perfect opportunity that you miss the right opportunity. Recognize that there will be obstacles and learn from your mistakes and the mistakes of others along the way. There are no shortcuts to anywhere worth going. And Dean Smith, I have to agree with your famous statement. After 4 long years here, it is finally our graduation day. And it's our last day as students at UHCO. And truly, there has never been a better time to be at UHCO.